All right, it is 4 o'clock. I think we're going to get started. We've been holding steady at 24 participants for a minute or two here, and I want to make the best use of all of our time. My name is Jay Pfeiffer. I am a career counselor here at Central Washington University, and I thank you very much for all of you taking time out of your day to come with me and crack your Holland Code. The Holland Code, which I will go through here in a moment, is just a way of identifying your interests, your strengths, and your values through assessment to help better match you to careers in hopes that you'll be happy in those careers and find congruency, stay in them for a long time, make lots of money, get rich and famous, and then name something after yourself on campus. All that being said, let me share my screen. And also, just a quick announcement, if you have questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. If I'm talking too fast, if I'm not making any sense, if all of a sudden I go max headroom and my internet drops out, somebody give me like a Team America World Police signal to let me know what's going on. Cool, cool? All right, so let's share this screen. Let's get this party started. All right, so welcome to Crack Your Holland Code. Again, my name is Jay. I will be your host on this journey. I appreciate everyone. Oh, well, there we go. All right, little lag on the keyboard. Anyway, the main goals of this workshop is to learn about the Holland Code career theory and why it is helpful and how it applies to you. And then you are also going to be able to get a link for a career assessment to find out what your Holland Code is, so that you can come back again for session 2 and actually go over your results. So that's what we're going to go through today. This is part 1 of 2, but we're going to go through the basics here today. And that's going to get us started off with our first audience poll. Hopefully Vicky Sanudo is firing that up right now. Aha. So when I am in screen share mode or when I'm in PowerPoint mode, I can't see the polls. So do you want to unmute yourself, Vicky, when we have our results?
Will do.
Oh, look, there it is. So what do you think is your #1 indicator for career satisfaction? Salary, amount of followers you have on social media, desirable work schedule, aligns with your interest, what your parents think is the best choice. Well, I'm glad to see none of you think you are doing what your parents have told you to do. And 2 of you are at least honest enough to say money is important. All right, so it looks like we have 90% of you saying that it aligns with your interests, which is absolutely correct. The #1 indicator for career satisfaction is something that aligns with your interest. An old career counselor saying back in the day was, find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life, which sounds really good, but it's a little bit too much sunshine and rainbows for me, but it is a nice thought and hopefully something you can pursue. But yes, you want to find something that you're going to be interested in. Thank you for participating in the poll. And the way we do that through the Holland, through Holland codes, through the strong interest inventory, is by looking at your values. What is it that you value? Is it independence, money, security, work-life balance? These are all things that you need to consider when you're looking at different careers. If you want to make sure that you're going to have career congruency and be happy, you also have to look at your personality. Introvert versus extrovert. And I know a lot of people think, introverts live in caves and they never come out and see the sunlight. But introvert versus extrovert is really more about where you receive your energy from. Introverts do like to need, or do not like to need, but need to have time to decompress and really kind of have an internal monologue with themselves, where extroverts are kind of like just self-charging batteries that can just go and go and go. The more outgoing there are, the more energy they get. So just knowing values, personalities, strengths are, what are you good at? I mean, it's as basic as that. I mean, if there is something that you're already good at and there is a career path out there, you want to make sure you're utilizing and focusing on those strengths. And the last is just interest. What do you have an appetite for? What do you actually enjoy doing besides going to school? Obviously, CWU is awesome, but what else do you like to do other than just go to your classes? So at this point, I'm going to ask Vicki to fire up audience poll number 2. Or maybe I can. Oh, I'm launching the poll. All right, here we go. Poll number 2. What percentage of students change their major at least once during the first 3 years they are in school? Good, just about everybody voting. All right. Last chance. Anyone else want to vote? What do you think? What percentage of students change their major at least once in the first 3 years? 75% of you said, or I'm sorry, 57% of you said 75% of students will change their major at least once. We've got 7 responding that 50% do, and 4 that say 25 is. Actually, the smallest number, the 4 people of you who choose 25% is correct. Basically, the statistic we basically use in career services is, students will change their major maybe 2 or 3 times within their career on average. Now that's average. I've worked with students who have changed their majors 17 times over the course of 4 years. There are students who are here for, their entire career and never change their major. So again, it's an average, but you want to make sure that you're picking the right major for you. Makes your path to a career that you're going to enjoy a lot easier. So John Holland, other than looking like the guy from Jurassic Park, was a very interesting dude who came up with the Holland codes, which are called RIASEC, R-I-A-S-E-C. But basically, going back even a little before John Holland, all the way back to World War I, they were trying to use assessments to figure out what kind of jobs people would be good at. Basically, he took that a step further. When you had all of the servicemen coming back in from World War II, he designed the Holland assessment and the Holland codes to help sort people. It kind of reminds me of an episode of Rick and Morty I just watched, but basically, finding out what people's strengths are, what their interests are, and what their values are, and they would compare that to people who were working in those fields already, who also had the same interests. And essentially what they found was that, yes?
Can you share your PowerPoint?
Is it not sharing?
Yeah, the poll disrupted the PowerPoint share, Jay.
Oh, well, thank you for telling me. How about now? No?
Not yet.
Hold on, I got it. Thank you for letting me know. How about now?
Yes, good job.
Woo! Technology, ain't it a thing? All right, so anyway, I was talking about John Holland. I'm sorry if you were just staring off at space. I am not going to touch the polls anymore because obviously that just breaks the internet. So we're just gonna skip that. But essentially what I was talking about with John Holland is he was taking a look at what people were interested in, what their personality was like, and what they actually had strengths and abilities in, and then match that with people who were already out working in those fields. Long story short, they found that there is a connection between people who have certain interests and what they would actually enjoy doing. So basically the theory breaks down people in work environments and occupations into one of 6 theme codes. That sounds very, very simple. Obviously, life isn't simple. It's very complicated. And that's where you have to start looking at how codes work together to better understand yourself and the path that you are on, because people are multi-coded. So you have to also be able to have majors and occupations that are multi-coded to match. So people have a code, you take a career assessment, and you're going to get basically a 6-digit code back, because everybody has at least a little bit of each of those codes in them. It's just that you're going to have a more significant amount of others. And then the jobs have a code, and then we can use that to match people together. Easy peasy. So when we do the interest inventory, we're looking at personality. Again, what are your personality traits? What subject areas are you interested in? Right now, especially if you're a first-year student, because it's first 6 weeks, I'm assuming you all are, you have the ability now to take a lot of different basic education courses and experience a lot of different majors, different types of career fields, and kind of get an idea for what you want to do before you have to make a decision. So, you want to be looking at what subjects, and I just totally brain farted on general education, but you'll have general education classes, where you can look at, do I like leadership? Do I like psychology? Do I like business? What do I like to do for fun? And is there any way I can incorporate that? The other thing you have to take into effect is the environment. What type of environments do you want to work with? What kind of things do you want to work with, whether that's people or data? Do you like working inside or outside? Do you want to be in a very rigid, structured environment, or do you like to have a lot of independence and freedom? And all these things will be taken into consideration when you get your 6 codes. And I have no idea what that gentleman is doing. It looks like he is a one-man band, but that doesn't look like a career that I would recommend for anyone here. But everyone has a little bit of each of those 6 codes. But generally, you're going to have 2 or 3 that stand out above the rest. So what we want to do is figure out what the top 3 are. Again, you have realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. I will disclose that I am an SEA. I am a social, enterprising, artistic person. And that kind of leads me basically to where I am right now as a career counselor. But everyone is going to be a little bit different. So realistic, the doers, these are individuals who like working with things, whether it be mechanical things, athletic things, physical things in the real world. The realistic doers are people who want to actually have hands-on experiences with their careers and interests. The investigative are the thinkers. These are the big idea people, the people who want to think about theory. You also have a lot of science as well as healthcare in there as well. Artistic, the creators. This doesn't mean you have to be an art person. It could be also just that you appreciate art. You might want to work in studio art, graphic design. Just because it says artistic doesn't mean everyone has to paint. Social, the helpers. These are people like myself, counselors, career counselors, people who want to help, teachers. Essentially, social doesn't mean that you're like the life of the party. It means that you want to help others. Enterprising is the persuaders. These are your business people. Really anything that has to do, I want to say, with making money or being successful or persuading others are generally characteristics of enterprising. And last but not least, we have the conventional folks, the organizers, your data folks that want to go over things, accounting, IT, data analytics. You have all of those things in there under conventional. So what you want to do is figure out which are your top 3, and hopefully you're going to have them be neighbors. You want them to be neighbors because the neighbors have more things in common. If you can see my pointer up on the screen, generally speaking, you're going to want to have 2 of them that are next to each other as your first 2. It would be not a red flag, but it would be something to further look into if maybe you had 2 that were across from each other, like investigative and enterprising. I won't say that, just because you get a certain code that you're like a broken person. or there's no hope for you. Thank you for laughing, Teresa. But generally speaking, most people will have neighbors for their letters, for their code. All right, audience poll number 3. I am not going to touch it. I am going to let Vicky do that. And hopefully, I see a poll. All right, attendees, if you were to guess what your first theme code is, what would it be? Again, you have realistic, the people who want to work with their hands, the things, investigative, the idea folks, artistic, creatives, social, helping others, enterprising, doing tasks, business oriented, and finally, we have the conventional, the data people, the construct. They're the people who like to have order in the chaos of life. I guess that's the easiest way to say it. It's a little late in the day, so not all of the words are going to come out perfectly. We have 22 of 27, which is just about last time. And we've got a lot of social folks in here. No enterprising. Oh. I'm the embedded career counselor for the College of Business, so anyone who thinks that they're enterprising should just probably come and see me as soon as possible. No? Okay. Vicky, would you like to end the poll? Thank you, and share results. So we had a tie with artistic and social. Remember what you are thinking right now, what you wrote down. Be good to go back and take a look at that and reflect on it when you actually take the assessment, just to see if you were right or not. So the next step is to actually take the assessment. And what I would recommend doing is actually, if somebody could copy it off of the screen, maybe I can copy it off the screen and then paste it into the chat. That would probably be the best way to disseminate this. Or what I'll do is once we get to the end, because we're almost at the end here of this first session, I will go back and I will copy and paste them into the chat then, just so I don't have to try to balance it between 3 different screens. Is that okay with everybody? I see some nodding. Excellent. So the assessment is very, very short. You're going to go there. It takes, it's essentially 30 questions. It should take you about 5 minutes to complete. I always recommend try to do it when you're in a good mood. If you are in a very, very bad mood, you're probably going to be like, no, I don't want to do that. That sucks. That's stupid. No, no, no. You want to be in maybe a little bit more of an open mood where you're like, well, maybe I could see myself doing that. Because all of these interest assessments, while they are very consistent with the results they get, they can be changed a little bit if you are in different moods. Also, you know, some people will try to like cheat and be like, oh, I wonder how a doctor would answer this question. Which is great if that's the only thing that you're trying to get out of it. But if you try to take it with an open mind, you get a much, much better result. And it's just one tool. It's meant to stimulate your self-knowledge, give you a framework for looking forward. But none of these assessments are a magic wand. I cannot come out there virtually through Zoom and bonk you on the head with my career advising stick and say, now go and be an accountant. But I will go back and I will pin this step in a moment. And then what we will do is we're going to come back again. Once you know your code, you're going to want to come back to a session to go over it. Now it doesn't matter if you go to all 6 of them. You can do that if you would like. Basically, if you just want to go to 1 or 2, that's fine to see your top 2. But if you want to, you can go and sit through sounds really, really bad. If you want, you can go and enjoy the fine entertainment and educational materials that will be being provided on that day. All of that being said, what are you looking to get out of the sessions? Again, it's a more in-depth look at your personality type. You're also going to see how CWU majors are coded according to the system, and then see how the careers fit against the codes with the majors. So it'll help put everything together. If you do the assessment on your own and then come back, you'll be able to connect the assessment with the major and the major with the career, and hopefully that will help you better understand yourself moving forward in your collegiate career. We're always trying to look at career services, not just as get you a job at the end, but helping students all the way from the beginning, getting into the right major, getting some experience, preparing themselves, and then going out and being successful and happy in their career. And then of course, making a lot of money and naming something after yourself. So if you want to register for the next sessions, you're going to go to cwu.edu/careerlive, and you will get the links for the theme codes there. And again, at the very, very end, I will go back and copy and paste these into the chat if they aren't already there. And it is time for poll number 4, the last audience participation poll of the afternoon. Vicki, if you could roll that beautiful beam footage. All right, question number 4. How would you rate your level of concern over how COVID-19 could impact your career choice? Well, if you were thinking about being on a cruise ship as a career choice, that might not be a good idea at this point. Unfortunately, sometimes things happen in the environment that completely change your perspective on what's going to happen with your career. I mean, I would have never guessed 6 months ago, that we'd be in the situation we are now. So you never know what's going to happen, but that's what we're here for. We're always here to help you. You can always use career services even after you graduate and the entire time you're here. But looking at the results, Vicki, would you like to share? Looks like we have a bit concerned, and bit concerned is probably a good way to be. Obviously, it is a big concern. It is a global pandemic. We don't have these all the time, thankfully. But at this point, if you are just starting your collegiate career, there is hopes for vaccines and normalcy to return by the time you're actually, getting into your upper classes and going out looking for internships and jobs. So it's good to be concerned. Don't let it keep you up at night. We're all going to get through this. Stay healthy, stay safe, wash your hands, all of that good fun stuff. So all of that being said, we also offer counseling for students free of charge. If you want to make an appointment with the career counselor, we talk about a number of career and professional development services, everything from finding the right major, getting engaged on campus, gaining experience, professional development. We have a lot of opportunities. It's not ideal that we're all working together but apart, but we have pretty good success working with this over the last 6 months. And you can book an appointment and we can help you out with any of those type scenarios. All right, so additional questions. Feel free to unmute yourself or put questions in the chat box. I'm going to stop sharing this screen and come back to you for a moment. Let me grab, oh, come on now. There's always a moment of panic that sets in when all of a sudden your Zoom screen disappears. All right, we have chat questions. Let's see. Jay, you're not presenting right now. The poll seemed to disrupt it. Good to know. Someone put in the Career One Stop, thank you. And the Career Services website will have the links to register from Vicki as well. I would also throw it out here just to everybody in the meeting. CWEDU/career is the place to find all of your career and professional development needs. You can also go there and schedule an appointment with me or any of the other counselors. We all have kind of our own different little style and way of doing things. But that is my spiel for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found that was 30 minutes well spent. If you have any questions, I'll hang around for a few minutes, but thank you for taking time out of your day to come hang out with me and talk career development for 30 minutes. Nice R2D2. Thank you, everybody.